This is the next video on the DTR. I'm going to bang that old main bearing out. The other main bearing stuck to the crank, so I'll take that off. I'm going to put them two in the freezer now. The coils. Just put them in there for an hour. That one's already banged out, look, because it's on the crank. I've got a solder in this casing. Just going to bang it down, bang that main bearing out. That's the main bearing out. There's the case. Case is alright. It would be noisy with those in. I'm just knocking the seals out now because the bearings have been in an hour. I was just about to knock that one out. If you look on the bottom, you see the metal. It's been in, look how it's been put in. The gap at the bottom, you can see it doesn't, I don't know if that's sealer coming out, but so you can't really tell. Like, it's in flush at the top, and you see halfway round the big gap where it's not seated properly. It's been put in wonky, and you bang that one out and get the blowtorch, heat that up so it expands, and the bearings with them being in the freezer will have cooled, so they're easy to tap in. So there's one of the bearings out the freezer. Just going to heat this up now and get that bearing in. So that's that one in. And there's the other one. We'll just heat that up and get that other one in there. And that's that one in there. So that's both of the main bearings in. So now the main bearings are in. I'm just going to get that old main bearing off the crank with a proper tool because it's still on. Just got the tool on. Just tighten it up each side. Tighten the bottom. Then once you've tightened that part up, put that part on and we'll just slacken that top nut there, and it'll extract the main bearing off. There's the main bearing. So anyway, before I pull the crank through, we'll get the crank seals in. Need one on that side, both different. Remember to put the right one in each side. So that's the crank seals, both the same outside diameter. But this big one with the big inside diameter goes into this case. So we'll lube it up on the inside and round out. And that's it lubed up. So we'll get that into this casing now. So that's the sealing on that side, and the sealing on that side as well. And now we'll pull the crank through. Just make sure you put it through the crank there. Just make sure you put it through the right way, which is that way, like that. Crank slack. Just put it straight down on that side. So I'm going to put the gearbox in now. The selector forks go on. You can see that one's flat on that side with a triangle down. That one's got triangles down on each side. There's a circlip at the top, what sits on that casing. So you get your gearbox, which is in that position, and you put them selector forks in between that runner and that runner there. We'll move up and down, and that runner fits in the bottom, and that runner fits in the top of this. That's the top runner, That's the bottom runner, that's the centre runner. And it's all as one like that, just slide it in. And that's it in now. Just need to tap it in. We want to put one more thing before we do it. We'll let this to last. So just lift that up, put it into there, and put it into the centre runner on the clutch, on the shift drum. And then you can just fit this guide rod straight through there. This fits in. Now we'll just tap this gearbox down. That's it in, all working good. Because when the selector forks are in, they're keeping everything straight. When the selector forks aren't in, and you turn that, it just locks like that. Just push that in. And the end of that way it sticks out the casing. It's where the gear shaft fits onto. I'll show that later on in the video. That's everything on this side, apart from the balance of the shaft. So we'll get the balance of the shaft on. Yeah. Just slots in like that. Right, next will be high Le Mans all around here. And then letting it dry for 30 minutes to let the vapours evaporate. So I've high Le Mans around there. And all the vapours will have come off it now. It's been on more than half an hour. Just don't forget to do that bit when you do it. I've sent the power valve off, the barrel off today to Jim Bailey, Roadrunners. He's the best at doing them. Same with cranks, all my cranks go to him. I took the power valve off. I'm going to get all that black carbon off. You should have 2 pins, which this has. Just it keeps the power valve still. Just before it gets late, I've already banged the old water pump out. That's the back of it. It was on that way like that. But I've cleaned all in there. It was all milky oil. So there's the new one. I've just lubed it up. On the outside, they're normally lubed up with grease on the inside. But anyway, you'll see water side. It goes. So the water side goes in that way like that. And then we'll just bang it in. And that's the new water pump sealing. Just make sure it's flush with this side as far as you can get it. That's further in than flush. If they're not in properly, when you put the shaft on, the back of the shaft hits the seal what's sticking out, and you're kind of getting onto this on the back. You can't get this fitted onto the back, but I'm going to fit that now anyway. And then we'll need that took off as well, just cleaning the old seal. Clean up there as well, there's got a bit of milky stuff in. So get the water pump seal in. I've cleaned all that black off there, so it won't affect the new seal. I'm just going to grease in there first, in the seal. So now that that's greased, just fit the shaft, just pushes in. Then you've got 2 of these little washers. That one goes on first. See, if you haven't pushed your seal through, you can't get this bar through what goes through next. You put that little bar through, which sits half like that, because on the back of that you see the groove for that metal pin to fit into. Always check these cogs, because this is the water pump cog. Always check these for snaps, because see if 2 of them cogs are snapped off, when this is running, whatever it drives off, when it hits there, it's not going to be driving, so the water pump's just going to be sat still. That happened to my friend CR80 when we were young, so just make sure all them are alright. Anyway, that just fits onto that, and it'll go over the metal bar hopefully. Yeah, and that's that on. And there's another one of those little washers, just exactly the same as the one underneath. Then there's a circlip to go on. There's the circlip. just push it on and get some pliers on it. It just clicks on like that. Make sure it's in the groove. That's the water pump done. Now I'll put this casing on. I've just cleaned in there all the little bits of muck what was around. You know, it's covered in milky oil around here. So we'll put this on. We'll probably have to put the crank tool on to pull the cases together. I've already lubed all these. So we'll put it on now. So that's as far as it'll go without the puller tool on. So we'll get the puller tool and push this casing down. So now I've got the crank tool on. I'm just taking this big nut that nips up. Might nip up at the front first, so we might have to tap the back. That's the casings pulled together. I've put all the bolts in. Now move round to this side. We'll start putting all the bits back into there. So first of all we'll get this collar in just to protect that crank seal. Lube it on both sides with engine oil. Just slides on, pops into the seal. That's that on. Now we'll get that bolt on with the seal holder. So now put this little woodruff key into there. I've already lubed it up. Just slide straight in. Just if you put it in now, you just have to slide hog over, which is this one, with the dot on there. The dot faces outways towards you. Slide that one all the way back. Then you get the primary drive. Just lube up in there. Then the primary drive goes over that woodruff key as well in there. So just slide that on. There's a big round washer goes in there, which is that. Then we've got the nut. So that's the baffle plate on. I put a bit of Loctite on that screw because it was slack when I took it off. Now we're going to put the gear selector drum tensioner onto here. We'll be putting a bit of Loctite on this nut. That's how it goes. Hook that under there. This bit of the spring just rests on the back of this casing when you put this bolt into there. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on that bolt, but if you can see, I don't know if you can see, I'll zoom in. That there on the selector drum is like a half circle. I'll show it close up. All the rest are point. So you work in neutral, so you put this on, this round bit fits on better because it fits into there. I'll show it closer once it's on. And you can just push it on slightly there. It's only on 2 threads there. I don't know if you can see the position, but it's only on 2 threads there. As you tighten this up, you can click this back and click it round, and then you that's it all tightened up. You can see the circle hitting the circular groove on the shift drum. That means it's in neutral. Now I'll fit the kickstart shaft. I've already lubed in that hole. You just put it in. You pull it back like that. This bit of the spring goes into that slot, and that stopper stops on this stopper. And by looking at it, there's no damage, so the kickstart shaft hasn't been apart and put back together wrong, because you've got to line these up if you take them apart. So put that in there, get the spring into the hole. Turn the shaft to the stopper, goes like that, then the stopper's round and it's pulled that cog back, so that's how I know it's working. Then you get this spring here and it pulls all around to this hole here. You just bend it back and push it into that hole there. That's the kickstart shaft on. Now put the Kickstart idle cog on. So first you put a circlip on. There's 2 grooves in this shaft. This goes on the back groove. Just pull it to make sure it's in. It's fit in alright. Got one of these washers. There's 2 of them the same. It's already lubed up. So just slide that washer over there. Then you've got your Kickstart idle cog. The flat bit like that goes into the engine, so that bit, the dish bit's sticking out. So put that on. Put another black washer on, what's already lubed up. It's exactly the same as the washer on the back. Put that on. And then you've got your last circlip, which is just the same as the other circlip. Just push it in, make sure it's in, it'll click. That's it. That's the Kickstart idler on. Next we'll get the balance shaft cog on with a little woodruff key, just so we can tighten this bolt and the balance shaft bolt up, because we'll have to put a penny in here and a penny in here to tighten the pair of them up. So we'll do that next. I've lubed that little woodruff key. There's 3 in the engine. There's this small one. There's a longer one in the primary drive. There's a semicircle one in the flywheel on this side of the engine. Here we'll just push that woodruff key in there. Then this cog goes on. But if you see there's a circle there. There's a circle on this cog under my finger. I don't know if you can see it, but that circle's going to line up with this. So just put that on. That's there. You can see the 2 circles lined up on the cog on there. So that's it. So I'm going to tighten the primary drive bolt up. Just put the penny in here. That's the primary drive bolt tightened. Now I'm going to put this bolt on, but it's got a locking tab first. Just fits in there. Put the penny in the top this time. Just get that tightened up. That's the primary drive on. Now I'll bang this tab back over so it locks this washer. Just take the penny out. Now that's the tab banged over. Just get the gear stick just pushed through that black bar there. It's the bar what the selector forks fit on, what I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think. But that just fits through these 2, if you can see it on the camera, the two black bars fit through that bar there. Just push it in. I've already lubed the seal at the end and put the new seal in. I've smoothed all the rust off the shaft so it doesn't damage the seal. It's just pushed in here, just slots on like that. Now the gear stick's on. The gear shaft. Just check the gears. Something wrong with the gearbox. I'll have to strip it back down. What I'll do, just take that off, leave this on, and don't have to take nothing off this side. Another side will just slide off. So get that nut off now. That's the tension off. Just try the gearbox now. So it is jamming. I should have checked in the first place. So anyway, I'm have to get all the bolts back out of here and pull this top off and get the gearbox out and have a check of it. It should come off easy because it's just been put on. And that's it off. Just pull it off now. It is John. So we'll get the idler cog off and the gearbox will just slide out. So we've got the gearbox out and it's that selector fork there on that cog. Let's pull it out and show it. See the wear marks more on that side there. So I don't know what's caused that, but I'm going to strip this down, make sure all the washers is in, just in case. Because this cog here, what it's lined up to, looks black, looks like burn or something. But they might all look like that, but can't really tell on camera. It just looks a funny colour and it looks rough compared to the other one what goes in. I'm going to strip this shaft and see if there's anything missing to cause that selector fork to bend like that. You see there, that big fat stopper is that fat stopper there, and then all these gears going that way to this fat stopper. So on the end of the circular in the washer, that's the circular in the washer, that's this big cog. This is on what the top selector fork goes in. So I'm just gonna strip all this down, see if anything's missing out of here or here, because something's caused that. It could have just been a wrong gear change and I might just need a selector fork, but I'm gonna check just in case. That's all the shaft apart. Everything's there, and then we've got these. If you look on the black bits, there's wear marks, but in here you see on the end of those all the ends, they're wearing down. So I've been up in the loft, that's the old one. I'm just going to chuck that in the bin and I'm going to be putting that on. What's all good. You know, rounded marks on the end. Plus I've got a damper ring, what's missing. And I can't remember the ball bearing come out, but it's probably on the bench, but I've never ever seen it and I looked for it. So I brought the ball bearing down. I brought a couple of selector forks because I didn't know which was the same as the one what's weighed down. That's the weighed down one with the two triangles on when you look at it at the bottom. So it's that one, and that one's good. Put all this gear shaft back together with that new cog on, put it back into the engine and start again. So that's the gearbox put all back together now. It's a new cog I've just put on, nice and tight on there so it'll grip in there. That's the gearbox back in. I've just been looking for that. Put the centre selector shaft fork in, bang everything down. Just to make sure that's pushed through at the start of it, the selector drum. Now we'll hide them all around here again, get that casing on, then get back to where I was in the video before this selector fork trouble started. So if I mod that again, I'm just going to wait 20 minutes. So the cases are nipped together. I'll be putting that tensioner back on in the gear shaft back through and the idler cog on. Then we'll test the gears, see how smooth they are now. They should be alright now. That's everything on. That's in neutral like I showed at the beginning of this video, I think, with the circle. So we'll put the gear stick on. It's in neutral now, that's why I showed that part. Always spin this when you're testing it. That noise is just the idler cog when I turn the pack. So 6th, 5th, just click there, 4th, I think it's come off, 3rd, 2nd, must be in 1st actually, tighten it up, it's in neutral now. I was just going to put that spacer in as well while we're on. There's already one in there. Just put that in there. Now just while we're on this side, I've just put the seal in the front sprout. We've got that colour. That's all rusty because that sticks out with the engine. The sprout goes behind it, but this is clean, just clean round it anyway. Then lube it inside and out. Make sure you lube it, because if these rust on, they're hard to get off, hard to split. Now I'll put the clutch arm on. So that's the clutch arm on. Just remember there's a little washer underneath what goes on. Now we'll turn on the other side. And now I'll fit this washer. It's like concaved like a C shape from this position. So if you're looking at it, it would be like that. It's like concaved, you can't really tell. But anyway, a bit like that goes towards the engine. So we'll put that in there. Then you've got one like that. It goes on next. Then you've got the clutch basket. I've already lubed that up, what it slides onto. That just links everything up once the clutch basket's on. That runs everything. Now there's a washer. It's the same as the one I've just put on, but it's got little splines in, little teeth. That just fits over there and slides round. And this part, there's a circle on it. Have the circle at the top. Well, that's the top there, where the little dot is. Now I'm going to put the first clutch rod in. I normally check, and you can see that that's been rounded off the ball bearing. So somebody's turned it round and there's a little bit wear there off the ball bearing. Because like sometimes if I get them and there's deep wear on there, I'll put the deep wear at that side through the engine, so it's touching the clutch arm, and then it's not affecting the ball bearing. Anyway, we'll grease this up. We'll grease the little ball bearing up. We'll push them through there. I normally have one of them through. 2 reminders, I just took it out earlier. So we'll get these greased. Now just push the little ball bearing in. Push it all the way back. So it fits the clutch arm properly. And that's the clutch. You see the clutch arm moving the screwdriver in now. So that's it on alright. So now I've got the clutch holder tool on, just to keep the inner basket still while I tighten this middle nut up. That's on tight enough now. I'll just have to bang the tab over. So now we're going to put the clutch baskets on. First you put one of those black plates on. Then you put one of those plates and the lip goes to the top. Like that. And I'm just going to show, this is the second plate, but didn't have a damper ring in. But I've got a damper ring for it. And the damper ring fits in there like that. Because this plate, I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it's got a bigger diameter than all the other plates. You can see there. Anyway, that one goes on second. It's all lubed up. Then the damper ring goes inside. Next plate, the metal plate with the notch, goes on there. So when you put the other plate on, the notch lines up here. I've got a video of how to set the clutch up, so I'm going to put it in the top corner. And it'll save the length of this video, because if it's been too long, it's already been too long. So you can just watch the clutch video up there, and I'll put all the clutch on, then come back when the clutch is on, and then I'm putting the bottom end into the bike. Still have to find a black washer for there as well. If I can't find one, I'll have to order one from Fowler's, but I'll probably have one lying about somewhere. Then when we've got all the plates on, this circle, what I was on about earlier, what you have sticking up, matches with that circle there. Because you could put that on that way. I don't know what would happen if you put on that way, because I've always put on that way, but that circle lines up with that circle there. Just before I put it in, check for any wear on the end of the push rod, just a tiny bit. That just slides on like that, and we'll put the springs in. Tighten them all up in a crisscross pattern. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, till they're all on. And I forgot to put that white speedo rev counter drive on. So just remember, before you put your clutch basket on, put this on. So that's the 5 nuts on it in the clutch. You'll have to put a penny in there to keep the clutch still while you're tightening those nuts up. I found one of those black washers, but I'm going to take it off just before I put the engine in the bike, because it'll drop off. Now I'm going to put the reeds on, then the engine can go back in the bike. So now I'll put the reeds on. I've holded them up to the light, and you cannot see no gaps in between the petals and the black bit. That's what you need to look for. So first put the gasket on, then the reeds. So they were a tight fit, but them gaps were too big. I'll measure them. The gaps are okay, so it should fit in easy now. That's it. Just wouldn't fit in before. Now I'll get the inlet on, and there was black gasket stuff all around there. Still see some of it on the bottom, but it was round the proper gasket seal. But you can see somebody's cut the two black bits would fit down the out. I don't know why people do that. People say it's a restriction when you read the restriction sites on Google, but it's not. It wouldn't be there if Yamaha didn't make them with that. It's there for a reason. And yeah, I don't know whether to put some Hylam on there, or now I've got the silicone off that proper sealer, off the proper sealer ring. I'll just fit it like that. And that's the inlet on. It's not tightened up, because I've just made sure that everything went through the gasket. If you push everything on like that, with the gasket, the reeds and the inlet, then you just push your bolts in. The gasket could have moved, like I've seen in all my videos, but it's just precautionary. The gasket could have moved, and when you put this in, you're going to rip your gasket. At least if you do that and put it through all the gasket holes and a couple of threads in, you know it's in all the gaskets, so you can just tighten it up properly. So it'll be crisscross. It'll be that one, this back one, this one, and just do it that way. So now we're going to get the engine back into the bike. It always goes in the back way first as well. That's why it wouldn't go on, because the carb wasn't on. And I've just remembered there that it had that dodgy earth onto one of these wires, so we'll keep that pulled back. You just go straight in now that the carb's on. Put the carb's on anyway. That's it. That's the engine. The carb on, I don't know what kind of carb this is, but it's not a DTR carb. Anyway, that's the engine in. Now I'm going to put the side casing on. I've just put the gasket on, but just don't push it on all at once. Like I say, like on all my videos, leave a couple of millimeter gap and put each bolt through, and make sure each bolt goes through the gasket, then push it on. Nearly forgot, put that little black washer on the top. So that's what I was talking about, the gasket goes all out of shape, so it's best to push the bolts through into there. Make sure you see your bolts go through the gaskets. That's all the bolts in. Kickstart's on as well. I've tightened the back sprocket up, but remember before you tighten the back sprocket up to put your front engine mount bolt in, because if you tighten your back spindle up, your engine's dropped. So you've got to lift your engine to put that through. When that's tight, you cannot lift your engine up. Anyway, I'm going to make another. I'll just put that bolt in so it goes through the gasket. I'm going to put one of them proper clips on there for that earth. Kick it over. Kicking over alright. One last thing, because this video has lasted too long, so I'm just going to show the gears, and then that'll be the end of this video. Till the barrel comes, because it'll not take long to put the barrel on. I'll put the stator on, which is still up there. Front sprocket chain, I'll probably just put them on later. Just rig everything else up, but we're just going to try the gears now. So it's in neutral now. That's first. I'll put this gear stick on properly. Do it again. That's neutral. You've got to spin this, so that's first. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. This gear stick's slipping. So it's in sixth now. Fifth. See the gear stick slipping there. Fourth. Third. Second. That's first. And then one tiny lift up. Just lift it up gently. And that will be neutral where it spins. So the gearbox is alright. That's a good thing. Not select before. That's what that was. Get this old gear stick off, because I don't even think this is the one. When they come on the bike, I'll have to watch the video when I took it apart just to see. I'm sure the gear stick's little and it's in the kitchen. This was just lying on the floor in here. Just take it off because it's just slipping on there. Them threads is alright. It's just them threads in there. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, that's it for this video, because it's lasted too long. Thanks for watching.